Hi, this is Homemaker Pro, and I'm going to show you an old family secret recipe, so please don't tell anybody. So if my mom finds out, she'll disown me. This has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. So I'm going to show you how to make it, post the ingredients on homemakerpro.com, and this is a family tradition buttermilk pancakes. Okay, here's the ingredients you're going to need to make these pancakes. You have buttermilk, flour, sugar, baking soda, and eggs, and a little bit of oil. Okay, first I'm going to add the dry ingredients. So you're going to have your flour, which is 2 cups of flour. Pour that in your bowl. And I'm going to do my 1/4 cup of sugar. And then I'm going to do my teaspoon. Make sure that it's set on a teaspoon of baking soda. And I usually stir that together to mix it. Then I need to go over to the stand mixer and separate my egg whites. So I'm going to take 2 eggs with me. I usually make sure they're pretty good size eggs. Pretty picky. I like fluffy egg whites. And I take this with me. And, okay, I use a stand mixer to separate my egg whites and beat them because I don't want to spend time doing both things at once. So this does the work for me while I mix everything else up. If you don't have one of these and you use a hand mixer, you have to use 2 bowls. And you make sure that you always use the beaters to beat the egg whites before you mix the ingredients. If you do vice versa, you have to be sure and wash off the egg beaters really well. Dry them off before you start beating egg whites. You don't want any water or liquid in there along with the egg whites or they won't beat. So the old-fashioned way I used to do it first, the egg whites, and then I would beat the ingredients together with the liquid. And then I would fold in the egg whites. But the handy-dandy KitchenAid does all the work for me. So you start with this, and your blades are in the front. I just kind of move them to the back, get them out of the way. Let's do it one more time. Then I set this in there. I have one of these egg separators. I used to not. I used to just pour it in your hand and you let it run through. Not a big deal either way. But I let this thing do all the work for me. And try to get as much as you can. So you want a lot of egg whites. And then I throw the egg in the mix. And then I do the second egg. You always make sure your bowl, because I washed it this morning, is dried out really well. You don't want any other liquid in there. And if you get any egg yolk in there, you got to start all over. You can't use it. So try your hardest not to get any in there. Try to get as much as I can. But you're not going to get everything. Be sure you wash your hands off in between after you do the eggs. I always put a napkin here down where I put the eggs so I don't have all that liquid down there on my counter. Then I just start this about 4 to 5 medium speed. And I'll come back and check on that in a minute while I do the rest. Okay, while the mixer's going, I'm going to go ahead and mix this with my hand mixer. I already put the dry ingredients in along with the 2 eggs. Then I'm going to add the oil, which is a 1/4 cup of oil, and I just pour that in. I like to do my oil before the buttermilk, because then when I pour the buttermilk in, it gets the rest of the oil out as it comes. You do the opposite, it's not going to be the same. And then I'm going to start with 2 cups of buttermilk. And this is a Pampered Chef. I like this. The liquid dry measuring cup. All the way to the top is 2 cups. It's very easy for me to determine how much. Has the pour spout. You can do the dry on the bottom and the liquid inside. Just make sure that you have it turned up the right way, where it says dry soil down below and the liquid above. Opposite isn't the same measuring. Pour that in. And I would say you want it the consistency of pancake batter, but that's what we're trying to do. Medium speed. Make sure you're getting the bottom dry stuff. Kind of stop to see what it looks like. It's a little thick. Because we're higher altitude, I may add a little bit more buttermilk, so you may need to bump it up to like a 1/2 cup more. That's just about right. Okay, it's about done. I'm going to turn it off. Bring this down. It's pretty thick. Doesn't have to be as thick as this, but you want it pretty thick in there. It's not like a meringue pie where you're going to have peaks, and it's okay if it curdles a little because you're blending it into a liquid. Not the same as meringue, if you ever make meringue. But we're going to add this to the mixture now and fold it in. Okay, this is where you blend them together. I'm going to use a spatula, we used to call it. Nowadays, home ec teachers call them rubber scrapers. I'm going to add the egg whites to it. I'm going to get all of it out. That's what makes the pancakes the best. Okay, what you're going to do is fold them in. Kind of spread them around the top there, and then I start folding them in. Folding is just turning it over and over again until you blend them together. That's where you're getting the air into the pancake. And you fold, around until it's pretty well mixed in there. You're not stirring, because you don't want it to just mix in there and get flat. You want those air bubbles. Okay, now that we have it all mixed up, we can put some pancakes on. Now that we're ready to start, I'm going to tell you what you need to make them. Of course, you have your mix here. You have your ladle. It's probably like a soup ladle size. I put oil on my grill once it's heated. Some people put butter. Oil, I think, it's just a little lighter than butter, and it keeps it the pancakes from sticking. Even though it's a non-stick griddle, I'm still going to use a little bit of oil in between. I like that crispiness on the bottom of my pancakes. I use the Presto tilt and drain big griddle. You can, when you're making other things other than pancakes like bacon and stuff, you can separate this and it tilts all the grease down to the bottom where you have a little tray. It's the best griddle I've seen so far. Big surface, lots of little pancakes, or lots of bigger pancakes where when you're flipping you're not hitting the sides and hitting other pancakes.